When would you lower taxes? Do you do it today or tomorrow or after you have a problem? Or, that's a good question. And here's what I'd like it, and you won't be able to see this map, but we'll leave it up for afterwards so you can take a look at it. This is a section map of North Dakota. This is the Bakken Play right here. And you can see how well developed that is. I mean, this is the sweet spot. This is where all the 2,000 barrel a day wells are, the 1,000 barrel a day wells are. We're drilling on that where the oil comes up good and good pressures and good values. That's all drilled out now, and they're pumping like crazy. This is what's giving us the revenue in North Dakota today. Now, if you look here, these are horizontal wells that are starting to shape the field. And as they drill these wells, if you look, there's one on each section. One well. Now, the oil companies drill that well because that means they can hold the mineral rights. If they have a 3-year lease and they don't do any activity, they lose the lease, they have to renegotiate it, or they have to, some other company comes in and buys it or whatever. So they have an incentive to drill a well every place they have mineral rights. But will they continue to fill in the holes? Will they continue to drill 3 and 5 and 4 wells in that same square? Now, this down here is you can see it looks like we shaded it in. This is the Marmon, North Dakota area. And when I left office in 2000, this looked like this. You had one well in each section down here with the company holding all those mineral rights. What was interesting is at the time, Montana had a different tax rate, and they were more competitive or more economically feasible to drill. So the Montana side of the border looked just like that. It was all filled in. Then Montana increased their tax, and things changed, and it became more feasible to drill in North Dakota. So all of those wells got filled in. They all started getting drilled, and you had that, you had, as I mentioned earlier, you have the well discovered, the production value comes off, you have another one discovered, the production value is off. So you had new wells coming in all the time to keep that revenue up. So we need the oil companies to fill in these blanks to make sure we get the most production value in North Dakota. That's where we get the revenues. Taxes don't bring our revenues in. Production brings our revenues in. We got to pull the oil out of the ground. Now, as these wells are getting drilled, where do you think the new rigs, the new wells are being drilled in North Dakota? Are they filling in these holes? No. They're drilling up in here. This is where the new activity is because they're starting to drill to hold those mineral rights. This is the Montana border. The oil doesn't stop in North Dakota. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So they're moving up this way to start drilling those discovery wells to hold the minerals. Once you get all those minerals drilled, the oil companies don't have any incentive anymore because they already have the minerals. So they can be here for 40 years. But are they going to be pulling the oil for 40 years? The existing wells are going to continue to pump, but they pump at a lower rate. We need new wells to keep the rate up. And so as this moves up into Montana, are we going to be over here? Montana's 9.25%, North Dakota's 11.5%. Where would you drill if it was your company? We're starting to define areas, and we're starting to move from the discovery phase into the production phase. And I would submit that's something we have to be really careful of, because if we don't maintain the economic relationship between the state of North Dakota and the oil companies, they hold their value in the ground. We need it above ground for the state of North Dakota to pay for our programs today. So we'll leave this map up, and hopefully that generates some discussion. But it's pretty interesting to see where all this oil activity is today, where it's going, and then ask ourselves, where do we want it to be tomorrow? And that's the discussion I hope that you have. Where do we want it to be tomorrow?